Cheers, everyone. Sláinte, happy Sunday. Hope you guys are doing good. I am really excited for today's stream. This is a friend that I met on another platform, so I'm excited to bring him to YouTube, excited to get him some Irish whiskey. Please click the like button. Let me know what you guys are drinking. See who we have here so far. I know there's some other streams wrapping up. Cheers, Chris Jenkins. Thank you for jumping in. It's good to see you. Mr. Gunderson. Sláinte. Cheers, Andrew Butler. All right, I'll say hi to everybody as you guys all come in. I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest in. If you guys are frequently on Instagram or TikTok, you will definitely recognize this gentleman. That we have Conrad from Whiskey Bonded.
Hey, Stacey.
Hey. Thank you.
Super glad to be here. Today. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited about this. I don't do much of the YouTube live, so bear with me. I'm low tech, but high in spirits and excited for this. So,
cheers, Sugar Kitty. Sugar Kitty is drinking some. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. That sounds like Scotch. No, in Sugar Kitty, that is Scotch. So tell everybody if they're not familiar with you on YouTube, tell them about you normally stream on other platforms. You stream on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, mostly on TikTok, just because the volume of people there is higher. I intend to do. I do YouTube. I put my content on YouTube. I put it on Instagram. I put it on TikTok. But as of now, we just do Wednesday night TikTok lives. Because we get a lot of people. It's pretty productive and it's a lot of fun. So I think TikTok's just a little friendly for streaming, but I can see this is really cool. So you may be tempting me to come on over to YouTube and do more streaming over here.
I honestly, after seeing some of your streams, I'm like, I don't know that I have the attention to do that because it's like boom, 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 so fast.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We get a lot of people, a lot of questions.
If you guys have fun. Any questions for Conrad, please throw them in chat. Sugar, thank you, Sugar Kitty. Daluan. That's definitely Scotch. Hey, cheers, Slapshot. It's good to see you. So we're going to get started. So I sent you a flight, and you're, I know, a big Jameson fan.
Yes, I am a big Jameson fan.
We're going to have some Jameson in here.
I see that. I'm excited for that one. I haven't cheated. I haven't tried any of these yet. Me straight off the cuff.
Cheers, Jeffrey Wack. It's good to see you. So I'm going to be on Jeffrey, Hello Again Whiskey Friends channel on Wednesday, doing a blind flight. Cheers, Jenny.
I know Jenny Bravo.
I have a feeling we're getting some of the TikTok, Instagram followers in here too.
I hope so. I want to support. I wanted to you've been someone that I've seen pop up on my content since the beginning, and I appreciate that. And that's why I really wanted to be here to participate and support.
I appreciate it.
Give you some love and 100%. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
So we're going to be starting. It looks like Eric is sipping on some of the McConnell Sherry Finished Irish Whiskey. That is a good one. That's a good under $50 bottle. We are going to be starting with a Jameson single pot still. So this was an Irish only release. That is 56% ABV. This is a single pot still. It's the first single pot still that Jameson's made in years and years and years. And this was finished in ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, Irish, American, and European oak casks. So it's got a little extra finishing on it. Jenny says, don't give him Mountain Dew.
Careful. She's referencing, I just did a video where I mixed Mountain Dew with Octomore. It was the worst thing I've ever done in my whole life.
I saw that.
Give in to the comments sometimes. Yeah, I don't know why I do that.
Hey, Anthony. It's good to see you. Cheers, Livewire Whiskey. Livewire is going live at 9 o'clock tonight, so make sure you guys jump over for that. If you guys want to throw Livewire and Anthony Bourbon Neophyte, if you guys want to throw your links in chat so everybody can subscribe to you guys and give you a check out. They're both going live. Anthony, let me know if I'm wrong. You're going live. It'd be midnight Eastern time tonight. Let me know if you're still going live tonight. So
live at midnight. That's hardcore.
Well, he's a West Coaster like yourself.
Okay. So got it. Midnight your time.
Midnight. Gotcha. Yeah. So this one was released in Ireland last year. we're really pushing and hoping that it gets released to the US. So far, no luck, but we're really, really hoping that I think it'd be a popular sell in the US.
I'd buy it.
7 p.m. East Coast time tonight. Okay.
Jameson always has a familiarity to me. This is actually a little different, but I love single pot still.
Jameson it does have a DNA. It has a distinct nose to it. It has a distinct DNA to it. Like no matter what, it's a Jameson. So Jenny, you can still find this one secondary sites, auction sites. Unfortunately, it is sold out for now. But again, it was so popular, maybe they'll redo it.
So let me ask you why you're trying that. The Jameson, I believe it is a 12-year. Is there a Jameson 12-year? I've seen that pop up around in some small stores around here.
Well, yes, because that's a discontinued bottle.
So what is that bottle supposed to cost?
Oh,
remember?
I think people are paying around 100, 150 for it, but I haven't bought one in so long.
What are you going to tell me about it? I saw it for $99. I almost pulled the trigger. I know that's expensive for Jameson, though. I'm sure it wasn't supposed to be that.
So yeah. I can tell you that Irish whiskey drinkers, if we see those, we usually snap them up. That's one of those bottles that there's a few bottles out there that the second we see them, we will buy them. That's one of them, the Jameson 12-year. The other is Powers Signature, which is Powers in a green label and green box that they discontinued. The third is Tullamore Dew Phoenix. That's a cast strength Tullamore Dew, and that one we snap right up to.
Isn't Powers' new rye whiskey in a green label?
Yes, different. This is old school bottle.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I doubt I'm going to see that.
For 2 years. The Powers rye is very good.
I might go grab that Jameson 12 now that you mentioned it, because I'm pretty sure it's still there. It's in a weird spot in a little tiny liquor store someplace.
I would buy if it was me and I stumbled across it, I would buy it. And I have a list of people that would buy it as well.
I'll send you a picture of it when I get it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
This is good.
Kate. So yeah, what are you thinking of the Jameson single pot still?
I like it. It does have a little bit of Redbreast 12 characteristic to me too. These are always very soft. I like Irish because compared to bourbon, which is most of what we do, it's very soft. It's very subtle. The soft citrus, the honey notes, and I'm not really getting as much on this, but I often kind of get a sweet bready note on them.
Yeah.
I'm not mad, but
a lot of that
chocolate.
Is single pot still. The one characteristic most people find with single pot still is baking spice. So at the finish, you're going to get clove, you're going to get allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, things like that.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the juxtaposition between the bourbon and the Irish really makes me appreciate the Irish. But I tell you what it does do. It does make those spicy notes, the cinnamon and the allspice, seem less dramatic, if it makes any sense, because the punch of some of those bourbons is so strong that this is they're so pleasant when I switch over to an Irish, because all of the flavors tend to blend well together, and it actually comes across as very sweet and very subtle, and that the graham cracker and the chocolate and all of these things are just very, very subtle and very smooth and easily balanced, and I love that.
Because I think that you said subtle at the end of the night, because we're going up to 63% ABV with this stuff.
I know there's not. I know. I guess I should be careful about that, because some of my favorite Irishes are the cast strengths, the Blue Spot, the Bow Street. That's where I think you get into some real magic. I mean, you get into some real magic in whiskey when you get into cast strength Irishes, and I just can't get enough bourbon drinkers to even consider it, because they try Jameson, regular old Jameson, and they go because
so obviously there's so much out there now. If I have to struggle to find actually a bottle of like 40% other than Bushmills on my shelf. Because especially the smaller producers have listened to people. They know people want a higher ABV. They want non-chill filter. They don't want artificial color. Yeah, so they're producing that. They're giving people that. You just have to look beyond the big brands.
Yeah, no, you're the one that I know we're going to get to that two stacks, but you're the one that turned me on to the idea of how many different finishes two stacks has besides just the standard and the cast strength, the higher proof two stacks, which is I fell in love with little cans. I had no idea.
I love it.
I still have some of those.
Yeah, Two Stacks cast drink is phenomenal. Yeah, I throw the cans in my bag whenever we go anywhere. I took one to the festival last weekend.
And I gotta say, a shockingly good whiskey for being in a can. I was just blown away. Yeah. That was the first Two Stacks I got was the cans, and that was enough for me to go buy a bottle and then the cast strength. And we have a really difficult time finding the other stuff here. So, but if I see it, I will buy it.
You have a store near you though that stocks Two Stacks.
Yeah. What is it? Folsom Wine and Spirits or Folsom?
Yeah.
Well, I remember us talking about that. I went in there and was so blown away by what he was asking for. I think it was the Redbreast PX. I recoiled.
The Two Stacks and the Cologne, the prices are retail. I mean, that's the same price I pay for them in Kentucky.
Okay, I'll have to revisit. I don't think I got that far before I was mumbling under my breath and cursing to my wife over the prices of some of those Redbreasts.
You didn't see the blue spot that was $300.
Maybe I remember distinctively in my mind's eye seeing those Redbreasts. It was a PX and one of the other ones I can't remember, and I just saw the price on them. And I'm like, we got to get out of here. I don't. I gotta go back and give another shake.
Yeah, they have a few. They also have the Tomengate port finish. It's priced high as well. I ordered it from Ireland for cheaper, so usually I'm like, no. But I mean, honestly, that is a problem right now with Irish whiskey is the prices. Right now, I can get a red spot ordered from Ireland shipped to my house for cheaper, about the same price as I can buy it in Ohio, and I'm in a control state. It's just
what's the price tag in Ohio?
$190.
Red spot? Oh, you'd be lucky to get it here for that. I got the one that I have. I got very lucky and got it at I think it was 160 or 170, but it's been a minute. And every time I see it now, they want stupid money for it.
Hey, cheers, John Krantz. Yeah. All right. Andrew, let me know if it's lagging too much. I've turned off all the stuff on my end, but we are in the basement. So sometimes it gives me fits sometimes.
I got to give you credit. I love your labels. Your little 4-leaf labels, like awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, I probably smiled, visibly smiled when I saw those. I think that's just neat. I get a lot of sample bottles, but I don't think I've had anybody else put a custom label on yet. They usually just are handwritten,
and they're not that expensive.
Yeah, this is cool. I like it. It's a nice touch.
Sugar Kitty says Red Spot at Total Wine is $199. See, I like Red Spot. It's my favorite spot. It's not worth that. It really isn't. That's too much.
So you said that I want to pin you down on that. So why is Red Spot your favorite? Because I feel like blue is mine. Why Red Spot?
Malaga. I do like that Malaga finish. Yeah, it just reminds me of kind of like a Werther's, like a Werther's candy, and with like a little bit of woody finish to it.
Butterscotch. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I have the anniversary, the Gold Spot anniversary. I haven't opened it yet. I'm looking forward to that one. I bet
it's good. I think you're going to like the Blue Spot better.
Really?
But it is good.
It wasn't easy to get, so I've been hesitant.
I ordered one from Ireland when it released.
We're gonna have to get back together and get some information on where you're ordering those things for. I wonder if I can ship them to California.
Yeah, they will.
I'll have to look into that.
I have friends in California that order from there.
Get the inside info from you on that one.
Yeah, we'll stay on the stream. When I end the stream, I'll fill you in.
Perfect. I got my pen and paper.
All right. So the next one, according to ABV, that we're gonna keep going. I think this one, it's 50%. So we're gonna go with JJ Corey. So this one is JJ Corey. This is a 6-year single malt, and it is called the Quick Brown Fox. And this is a 6-year single malt Irish whiskey, and this is finished in Oloroso and Amontillado casks.
So do you know much about what Amontillado is?
Sherry, I think.
Oh, it's a specific type of sherry. That makes sense.
I think and Sugar Kitty is in here. They would know, but pretty sure it's some kind of sherry. And so this one was done for one of those stores that I order things from, which is James J. Fox in Dublin, Ireland. This was a store pick for the store in Ireland that's in Dublin.
I love store picks in general, regardless of what type of whiskey it is. It's really interesting to see what somebody picks out on their own. And if you get somebody that knows what they're doing, you always get something good. I've had so few store picks that weren't delightful. I buy them as much as I can.
There you go. Amontillado is said to have an almond note to it. Thank you. Sugar Kitty, I knew you would know. Eric ordered his Gold Spot from the UK, 700 milliliter, and still has the pink and white UK market sticker. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I got some of those.
Maybe Eric will tell us how much was it, Eric?
Yeah, Eric, let me know how much. I have a feeling you probably paid what I paid for that. We didn't pay too much over there, but the shipping is up. So when I ordered mine, I ordered it directly from Middleton. And Middleton, when they release new whiskey, they know they got you. So Blue Spot and Gold, both I ordered from there. And so I paid $80 to ship one bottle of whiskey. It's outrageous, but they're like, they know they got you. There's nothing, if you want it, you're going to pay it. $150.
No, that's,
and I think it's worth
that's
that.
not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, compared to what you got to pay for it now, the only place I can find it right now is probably $250 if I had to go get one.
Yeah.
So I mean, that considered.
Well, this it was a one and done.
This is nice. I like the multi.
So
cheers.
This is different. This is JJ Core is a whiskey bonder. So there are several whiskey bonders around Ireland, and this is run by Louise McGuan, who also was involved in that Kentucky Owl St. Patrick's bottle.
Yep, I have that one. I like it.
They brought over to help pick that. So she procures casks from the different distilleries in Ireland and ages and finishes them on her farm. And she categorizes everything more by flavor profile than type and year, which is really interesting. She creates some really, really neat blends.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that St. Patrick's Day. I know a lot of people weren't, but that was fine for me because I've got a couple of bottles of it. I snatched them up, and they haven't gone up in price. They actually were discounted. So I like it. I like that one a lot. Personally.
I like it. I don't like it $135, but I do like it.
I wouldn't buy it $135 either. I got it at Costco for $79.
You guys in your California Costco.
I often joke, and I've even done videos on that. I think that California, for all of the bad things about California, we could talk about for a long time. Our access and pricing to alcohol is probably the best that there is. I mean, I did a Jameson video a long time ago about I think that this is the cheapest place in the whole world to buy Jameson, and I think the folks in South Africa were close. But I can get a bottle of 750 Jameson for like $17 or $18.
It kills me, and I've given my friends in California all kind of heck over this, because you guys have access. There'll be bottles that are just stacked up by the case in Costco in California, and we were out of it like Red Restless Stowe. We were out of it for a year in Ohio. Didn't have any coming in at full price, but you guys had just cases of it sitting around at Costco, and I'm like,
that was a Costco bottle. Yeah, they were there forever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Nah,
that's not.
We got more stock, and I have bought another bottle, so I'm good now. But I was like hoarding it away like a squirrel, like the last little bit at the bottom of the bottle.
I've been guilty of that. Bad. I mean, I'll buy backup bottles, as silly as it is, way before I need to.
So
find something you like.
This bottle you can't get in the U.S., but JJ Corey does have two offerings called the Hansen and the Gall, and you can get those in the U.S.
To watch for those.
Little bit less ABV. There's a 45 or 46%. I can't see. But one is a really great blend. One honestly would be a daily drinker for me. It's so good. The others are really good Irish single grain that you don't see around too much.
100. I like the high proof.
Cinnamon.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm getting like raisins or dates or something, kind of a cacao chocolatey kind of.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. I like the malt. I do like that maltiness. My wife hates it. Anything that's malty, anything she doesn't like.
I'm with you. I really like that as well. Hey, Z-Man. Cheers to you.
There's a little bit of floral to that. That's really nice.
I'm getting the chocolate that you're getting now.
Yeah, but not a sweet chocolate, like a semi-sweet or bitter, or maybe even a cacao.
Yeah, like the 75+% dark chocolate.
Because that one's not
good stuff.
That's really not sweet. I'm not getting a lot. I'm not getting a lot of fruit on that, which I usually get in cherry finish. So maybe that's the Amontillado. Is that what it is?
No, Amontillado. Yeah, and I don't know how long that they were aged in those or finished in those. So it just might not be coming through as much as the malt does. Not into malt. Keep her away from Deanston.
I keep her away from all Scotch. Period. It's just a waste.
It's so much of a Scotch expert.
I'm a big fan of Scotch too. You wouldn't hardly know it looking at my stuff, but I love Scotch. I love heavily peated Isla Scotch. It just depends on the mood I'm in, but I really do have a little bit of absolutely everything, and enjoy all of it. So it just like I said, the bourbon thing, because we're in the U.S. I don't get anything from any distillers overseas. You know, we get distilleries that send us bottles and stuff here, but you know, so we just end up doing a lot of bourbon stuff. But I'd love to do more Scotch and more Irish, and I probably will selfishly. But I love that malty, malted Irish. So I like the two stacks because it's kind of got a little bit of everything in it, with the lightly peated and the, it's interesting. It makes them complex, and that's what I really look for is complexity. I want to taste it the second time and get something I didn't get the first time and go, wait, what's that? You kind of chase it down the rabbit hole. What was that flavor? What was that smell? That's what's fun. And honestly, my wife actually has got a better palate than I do, if I'm going to admit something, for the first time in front of anybody. If I can't pin something down, I hand it to her. I go, what is that sweet smell? And she nails it. She's good at it.
Peated Scotch. Anthony is a big Scotch drinker as well, bourbon neophyte. He was kind enough. He came on my stream and we did a peated Irish flight. Oh. And I even threw in a peated poachine.
Peated. I like the way that the Irish use peat. They're much better about being subtle with it. I've never had anything that is really.
There's a couple Irish. I've got W. O'Connell, Bill Phil, and the ppm level is about same as Ardbeg on that one, or like a port Charlotte.
Okay.
So it's up there. The dark silky, I absolutely love that one. That one's just under what probably like a Lagavulin would be. So it's not quite as peated as a Lagavulin, but they're starting to creep up there. You're going to get you're starting to see a lot of peated Irish whiskey. I think, gosh, there's over 50 different bottles of peated Irish whiskey now. It's blowing up. Yeah, it's blowing up.
I'd love to get into that because I'm a big fan. Lagavulin 16, and the Ardbegs, like the Ugyadals, I love it when they get the heavily peated smokiness and they balance it out with something. When you get that peat and it just about starts to punch you in the mouth and you're just about to the point where you go, that's too much barbecue, and then it settles into something sweet. That's the jam for me when it comes to Scotch. I've got that Octomore that's just huge peat parts per million, but they balance it out. About the time you're about to tap, it mellows. And then you're kind of getting this like journey of up one way and back down the other, and that's what I love about the heavily peated stuff. And the ones that I've had from the Irish are very good. So I can't wait for that. I'll be looking forward to more heavily peated Irish stuff to see how they do it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. There's a lot out there, and it's starting to get more and more and more peated. And I know that a lot of people don't realize, they're like, well, they associate, peat with Scotch. Irish used to be mostly peated. It wasn't until they started using coal that it kind of fell off. And now it's starting to be a big resurgence. I think you're going to see a lot more peated, a lot more mixed mash bill, Irish whiskey. Look, Springbank 10. That's a good one. And yeah, he's talking my language. Yeah, Anthony is a big peated whiskey fan. I think
peated scotches and peated whiskeys is I think you kind of grow into it. I very rarely run into somebody who's new that likes peat. I think you kind of work your way towards it.
And sometimes it's just finding the right one. My husband has always been a peated whiskey fan. He had a few here. He had Lagavulin. He's got Bill Phil. And it just took someone bought him the Dark Silky from Slave League in Ireland. And the second I had that, I was sold. That was it for me.
Well, I not all peated whiskeys are good. I've had a couple that were gnarly. So sometimes it's not a good thing, but most of the time it's good. I can't. What's the I don't know if you're going to know this. You're one of your watchers here will know. Not Ardbeg, not Lagavulin. Lefroy. So, thank you. Who the F is Pete? So Lefroy. I was at a bar in Southern California with my wife, and they had Lefroy. They had Lefroy 10, and I wanted to try it, and I stuck with it, but I got this like plasticky Band-Aid medicinally. It was just I couldn't get past it. I haven't gone back.
Yeah. We have a whiskey tube description of Lefroy 10, and that's Band-Aids and hate.
It's Band-Aids, and I hated it.
Yeah.
I just can't, and I know that that's the worst of Lefroy from talking to friends, but I just can't bring myself to go back and try it again. I love the Ardbeg stuff. I love the Lagavulin. Good. I'm glad I'm not alone. I feel like I'm just.
My husband likes it, and I'm like, how? This tastes like someone set an ER biohazard bin on fire. That's exactly what it tastes like.
And heavily smoked it. It was just, it's just so bad. Come on. I like your comments.
Kilchoman 100% Isla is peated lighter than regular bottles. Nice multi-flavor. A lot of Kilchoman fans here.
You got a lot of Scotch fans.
Yeah, John Matlock. Yes, there are a lot of Scotch and Irish fans. These guys are a wealth of information. So
I have the same experience.
The next bottle, Conrad's going to be trying, and I told him beforehand. So I was a bonehead and completely drank the last of it. So I'm going to be drinking another bottle, which is the other U.S. release from Killowen, which is their Baron Tool.
Oh, great bottle.
Actually, yeah, this is the other U.S. bottle they released. This is a single pot still cognac cask. I sent him, and it's a big favorite of mine, which explains why I don't have any more. And that is the Killowen Coconut Rum and Raisin. It's a 5-year single malt that's been finished in West Indies rum casks. So that one is that you're drinking is 55% ABV.
That's a great proof point.
So Killowen, these guys all know that Killowen is my favorite Irish distillery. They do things very old school. So in the days of all of these distilleries that are becoming so, mechanized and computerized, Brennan Cardy and Killowen still do everything by taste. They're not even the casks. They only most of the time fill them like halfway. They're doing natural yeast production where they'll just roll everything outside and let nature take its course with the yeast. Yeah, they're using canoe paddles to try to stir up the mash. So everything he's doing, the only kind of like he has to record some things for the government for labels, for just like TTB. But aside from that, he's doing everything by taste. Then when he feels it's ready, he pulls it. So they're also, they're doing double distillation. They're doing worm tub condensers. So they're using like Portuguese handmade stills. They're doing things so different. And he's a firm believer that, you use quality ingredients, you do quality practices. You don't need to let something sit in a cask for 20 years. So the whiskey I'm drinking is 3 years old. All of these whiskeys right here on the shelf, the oldest one is 4 years.
Yeah, this is
drinking, that's 5 years old.
I guess my only question is, where do I get this? Because I gotta have some of this. That's really, huh?
Folsom has it.
But do they? They're gonna take my head off for it?
No. So the downside to this is Ireland's smallest distillery. So the good thing is you're supporting not a big distillery, an independent brand. The bad thing is, so the bottles are, I believe that one is $70, $65, $70. Now they're 375 size bottles. That's
Oh,
it.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's the
Uh,
downside.
that bottle. Hey, hold the bottle up. Just so the bottle there. I didn't catch that was that small. I love the shape of it. So that's a 375. Oh yeah, it is small.
Yep, 375.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna. The only problem is I'm gonna have to buy two at a time. That is
I buy
really
two
good.
everything they do.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Plus, yeah.
I love the coconut, and it doesn't say what. Oh yeah, okay. So it is PX finished. You can get the coconut and the rum, and a little bit of raisin, little. That is really good. That is really
Isn't
good.
that
And this
good?
one, I'm getting this one as it finishes. It kind of finishes on the back of my tongue. It's kind of
I get
settling
the
in on the
coconut
back.
on the finish. I get the coconut on the nose, big time, and then I get the coconut on the finish.
That's really fantastic. That is really, really fantastic because it's also got. It must use bourbon ex bourbon barrels. It doesn't say it on here
They do, yeah.
because I'm getting vanilla. Some of the vanilla that I'm assuming must come from that, and not a lot of oak. Maybe a tiny bit, but that must be because from the lack of age. Because 5 years in Ireland is not very long.
No.
Man, that's
Yeah, and
good
usually
pick.
you can taste younger whiskey. I will say all the cologne stuff drinks well above its age.
It definitely because I know that obviously when you're dealing with the back and forth between aging things here and aging things there, it takes longer because of temperatures and stuff. So 5 years in Ireland is, I mean, what is a standard like a Jameson Black Barrel or a Jameson? What do they assume that how long that sits?
Usually it's 6 years plus. It's usually right around 5-6 years.
I
I
mean,
can tell you that like the Bushmills, the standard regular Bushmills, that one is 3-4 years. The Bushmills Prohibition was a blend of 3, 4, 5 years. So yeah, you're gonna see some of that. The problem is you see stuff like the Waterford, which tastes every bit of 3 years old. This stuff doesn't taste like it's 3 years old at all. And that's kind of the point he wants to release things. He says not when it hits a certain age, but when he thinks it's ready.
when I'm curious too, the ABV at 55% in something so young. Do you know what alcohol content do they go into the barrels?
That I don't. I honestly, here's the awesome thing about Brendan Carty. I could actually probably send him a message on Facebook, and he'll get back to me with that.
Really, I'd just be curious to know that because it seems it's not a direct correlation, but obviously the longer that something sits, it can affect what the ABV comes out at. But it also depends on what they put it in at too. I mean, what the barrel entry proof is. Because I got to imagine that ABV didn't change a ton at 5 years in a cool climate like Ireland. But so I don't. That's
so I
interesting.
don't. Yeah, I'm not fighting it on here. So all of these Baron Tool bottles that he's releasing, they all come with these little insert cards. And I don't know if you could see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
It's giving you exactly measuring by the sack. It's giving you the type of fermentation, the distillation. He's telling you how full the casks were. Every single detail.
That's very cool.
And he sends that comes with every single bottle of the Baron Tool.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go get one of these. This is really interesting. I gotta say, it's not very often that you get a coconut. Obviously, he finishes a coconut, but coconut and that coconut kind of fig raisin vanilla. It's a really interesting combination, and I can't say that it's something I've gotten in. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've had that's, maybe something that's rum finished. You get a little bit of coconut too, but not like this. It's different. Yeah. I like it a lot, actually.
I absolutely love that one. I already love their rum and raisin. That's in the standard core lineup, and this one I think it adds an extra layer of complexity. And I love what Cologne's doing. So no artificial color, non-chill filtered, double distillation. Comes out of the cask is how it goes in the bottle. So
the color is incredibly light.
61%. Well, it's only 3 years. This one is 61% ABV.
Wow. Yeah, I think the other thing I have that is this light in color is that distiller safe, that Jameson's distiller safe. It's extremely light. That's a very light color. And
completely different. You get so much more flavor out of the Cologne than you do that distiller safe.
No, completely different. I like the distiller safe because it's got that shortbread cookie that I just love it. It's just so good, but it doesn't have nearly the complexity. It doesn't have nearly as bold a flavor. It doesn't have nearly. It's not the experience. I like to drink the distiller safe when I just want to. I think the point of making that was to accentuate that one part of the distilling process, that one influence,
it was to highlight
and they nailed it.
Makers, yeah.
Yeah, and they nailed that. So it's neat to visit that bottle. I like to drink that bottle because just that one single aspect done really, really well. It's really pleasant.
Yeah.
I just sometimes I want to drink something that's just
that was
nice to drink.
My favorite of that series was the distiller safe.
I think we talked about that. Unfortunately, the only place I know of that has that, it doesn't have it anymore. So now I'm wondering if Folsom has it.
They're discontinued.
They are. There's no more.
Nope.
I should have bought that bottle I saw, the last one I saw.
Yeah, if you find any more, you're in another state. If you find them, grab them because once they're gone, they're not making them anymore.
I will now. I had most of a full bottle, so I passed on that one. I shouldn't have. I'm an idiot.
Cheers, OH! Congratulations. OH got married this past week.
Congratulations! That's fantastic.
Cheers, Todd. I watched 21090 earlier today making beer.
Oh,
that looked really good.
Home beer makers.
Cheers, William Reynolds. Yeah, I was hoping you'd be a Cologne fan, and I was kind of sneaking you stuff that I knew you could get at Folsom.
Oh, good, thank you. Because nothing's worse than loving something and not being able to buy it. I hate that. I do get that sometimes. People send me samples of stuff.
For that later on.
For this I know that Jameson barrel. So let me ask you something before you get into that. How do you feel about the Middleton Barrel Club? Obviously, you're a part of it. Obviously, you see value in it.
So I would have liked it better had they not discontinued it.
Oh, so I missed it.
Yeah. They announced 2 months ago that they're doing away with it. I'm hoping they come back with something else.
Any reason why? They say why?
No. I think they need better organization with it. So it was for those of you who don't know about Middleton Barrel Club. It was a special club that you could get into in Ireland as long as you had an Irish address to ship it to. Obviously, I got friends. So I know I'm one of a lot of Americans who were part of Middleton Barrel Club. It was $500 a year with the conversion between euro and dollar. It ended up being almost 500. I mean, with shipping, you're going to end up paying 500. But you got an introduction box. So you got a bottle of the Jameson Distillers Edition with your name on it. You got 2 of these fancy tasting glasses like this right here with the Barrel Club logo. You can see the Barrel Club logo, but you got those nice tasting flutes. And then 4 times a year, you would get a box with a full bottle and 3 to 4 samples in it. And I signed up because the first one was Redbreast Christmas Cake, which was Redbreast single pot still, finished in cream sherry.
Oh my.
Freaking amazing. I've sampled that out to where I'm like that much to the bottle left.
Oh no.
Everybody loves it. And unfortunately they never released it publicly. So if you're going to get it, you're going to have to search auction sites. It's been going for like $400. The next one was they highlight their own brands too. It's not just all exclusive stuff. So the next one was Napogue. So you got a full bottle of Napogue 12. You got samples of Napogue 14, 16, 12, 14. No, it was 14, 16, and 21. That's what it was. I drank all those, so still have the Napogue 12. The next one was this bottle that we're going to be drinking next, which is Jameson. So people always say, well, what the heck is special? It's just a Jameson. This is a Jameson that will never be released publicly. This was literally picked out for the Middleton Barrel Club. This is a blend of grain and pot still whiskey, ex-bourbon barrels, virgin American oak barrels, and Oloroso sherry butts bottled at 59.4%, and it was picked out by Kevin O'Gorman. So this came with some just basic samples, but I've got one more box, and then I'll be gone out of Middleton Barrel Club.
Oh no. That's sad.
I am so bummed. Because my husband had just finally seen the value. He's like, yeah, actually, it's not a bad deal. You're getting all this. You're getting 4 bottles a year, 4 full bottles, all this other stuff. So yeah, I keep going with it. And then they're like, yeah, we're not doing anymore. I'm like, son of a bitch.
You just won.
You're kidding me.
Now I'm gonna say I wish you would have sent me bigger sample bottles on some of these now that you got me. It got me all excited about them.
This one I almost did send you another one because I have a feeling you're gonna love this.
Anybody who says just Jameson doesn't know what they're talking about. Has only had regular Jameson.
Yeah.
Because everything I've had from Jameson, I'm an emotional fan of Jameson because I think like a lot of whiskey drinkers, that's where I started whiskey. It was the first whiskey I drank. It was the thing that I drank the most early on. I love it, and I will still to this day sit down at a bar someplace or in a casino and order a Jameson. I like to drink it on ice because it dumbs down. The only thing about the base Jameson I don't like is the pepper note can be a little much sometimes. So put it on ice, it dumbs it down, and it's just sweet, and I just love it. So everything from Jameson is always good to me, and anything above the basic Jameson is fantastic. I drink more Black Barrel probably than any other single thing that I have. It's just so easy to get. It's cheap and it's delicious.
Barrel's a great one.
Yeah, I've tried to tell a lot of people about that one, and maybe I should shut up about it.
Oh, no, it's okay because you're like me with a cologne. I think these guys are all sick of hearing me talk about cologne.
Well, I like Jameson Black Barrel because it's a great segue. So for my people that are bourbon drinkers, I think it's a great place to get into Irish.
Perfect for bourbon people.
It does a little bit of both, but it's so damn good. It's for the price, it's so cheap here. It's hard to beat. I just polished off another 1 liter bottle last night, so I begged my wife to go to Costco and get me some more.
Well, and that honestly is why, I had the single pot still, but when I got this in the mail, I'm like, okay, I got to reach out to Conrad and see if he wants to do some samples and do a live stream because I think out of everybody I know, I think you'll really appreciate this being such a Jameson fan.
Well, I appreciate the crap out of that. That's this is the only downside of this is they'll never be able to get a bottle of it.
It'll be, you will have to pay auction prices for that one.
What do you think that bottle goes for on an auction?
I have this one. I haven't looked. The Christmas cake I did. This one I haven't looked at. I don't think it'll be as high as a Christmas cake.
Maybe I should get it now before it goes crazy.
Eric hopes to see Cologne one fine day. Cologne is in northern Kentucky. It's going to be at Benny's in Chicago. It's New York, and Folsom Wine and Spirits in California is where you can find Cologne in the U.S. None of us get Cologne locally, so stop talking about it. Don't talk about the redacted. They call Powers John Slang redacted.
I don't know if it's the one we were just on, but I'm getting a little bit of coconut in that one too. This is very 18. This is very 18 reminiscent to me.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I get on this: coconut macaroons. Those coconut macaroon cookies.
Yeah, because there's definitely that bready. Man, it's almost. I could see coconut bread. It's almost a slight banana, almost like a slight banana bread. And a little bit of a nutty, oh my goodness. There's a lot going on the nose on that one.
It's so different. And it's honestly might be one of my, I don't know, between this one and the Bow Street. Both of them are fighting for my favorite Jameson. But I love that still at the core of this, it's still Jameson.
There's a bit of maybe like a honey or a marzipan or little caramel. God, there's a lot going on that.
Honey, vanilla. That's why I say like the coconut macaroon, because I can get the coconut, I can get the kind of the short bread, the bready cookie, and get the honey, the vanilla.
Yeah, the bready cookie, definitely. That's. Oh gosh. That's just not very. Look, and this is both very nice and not very nice of you at the same time.
I'm really sorry.
No, I know. I'm glad you did.
You were the one person. I'm like, if I want to share this with someone, you were the one person who I knew would appreciate this. I'm
so glad that you did. It's so funny because on the nose, it's very Bow Street reminiscent to me. But once it hits the palate, there's definitely a note to that the Bow Street doesn't have. It's a fruitiness. God, maybe almost a berry, like a strawberry or a.
Yeah, I could get like a strawberry, maybe a raspberry.
Maybe a raspberry, which it's very fleeting. Kind of comes in the middle. but I don't
More like
remember
black
getting that on Bow Street.
That's more like black raspberry
Could be a blackberry.
or blackberry. Yeah.
Could be a blackberry.
But yeah, you're right. It's right at the end. And then
Definitely,
I get coconut
yeah.
vanilla.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, definitely the vanilla.
That coconut vanilla is the one that keeps going. Yeah.
Oh man.
Cheers, Bourbon School. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, Bourbon School. Cheers.
Chinese almond cookies have a ton of butter, shortbread, powdered sugar, the nuts, and topped with coconut. I don't know that I've had those.
Chinese almond cookie. Wow. That's absolutely fantastic. Kind of getting almost like a sweet, maybe like graham cracker, kind of at the end. It's a spiciness, but it's not pepper.
This is one of those bottles, honestly, that would make me say, yes, the Barrel Club is worth the price. It's ridiculously expensive, and you have to pay. I mean, the Americans are paying for shipping on top of that, but because you're never going to try anything like this. I mean, this was a freaking cask that was hand selected by Kevin O'Gorman.
Well, and it's incredibly difficult. It's really difficult for me to even find the 18 Bow Street. The 18 pops up all over the place, but even that one's $120 here. 18
Bow Street. Make sure you're getting the box that's in green. Not the Bow Street, the regular Jameson. I'm sorry, the regular Jameson.
Oh, the regular 18. What's the difference?
They up the ABV.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, the regular 18, they up the ABV to 46%.
I'm going to have to look at
the difference. It really does.
I bet it does. There's one right down the street. I looked at it today. It was $118, I think, but I didn't notice the ABV.
That's so cheap.
Yeah. It's so cheap. I got lucky. I got really lucky. I don't know if you've heard the story. This Bow Street that's behind me, I got it from internetwines.com. They actually had it on sale. I got an email. They said, hey, we're blowing them out. And it was like 120 or 125, something like that. I just snatched it up and paid the shipping. I haven't seen another one since.
Oh, I think it's $199, I think. Or maybe that's Bow Street in Ohio. I'd have to look. But yeah, I have had the JMO 18 since they upped the ABV, and it definitely is worth that extra ABV. So
no, that's good to know.
That's the difference. Yeah, it's now in a green box as opposed to a white one.
Well, I'll buy that then, based on what you're saying. That because I've avoided that one because I've imagined that there's no way it can hold a candle to the Bow Street. It wasn't going to be worth it, but
it's good. I mean, and honestly, for just over $100, yeah. If the price difference is that big, I mean, if you're talking a lot of money more for the Bow Street at the 46%, I don't think that's a bad buy at all.
Well, and I noticed too is actually interesting. It was sitting next to a Glenlivet 18, and the Glenlivet 18 was like $148, and the Jameson 18 was $118. And I remember thinking, as much as I love Glenlivet 18, for that I definitely go with the Jameson 18. I mean, why is that so much cheaper? That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and one of the reasons they might be trying to, the only thing I can think of, they're trying to discontinue the bottles to get the higher ABV bottles in.
It could be
sitting around a while because honestly, nothing the IDL produces is dropping in price. The prices continue to increase and increase. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. I mean, Redbreast 27 now is $650 in Ohio, and I've heard it's going up again. I can get a Redbreast single cask from Ireland that's a cask strength bottle shipped to me for less than that. So, I mean, there's no really incentive to buy that.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on a 27 as much as I love Redbreast, just because I just can't imagine. I mean, do you feel that it's worth $500+?
I
please
think
say no.
500 is the top I would pay.
I was going to say, please say no.
If you can get it with tax for 500 is a cutoff.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't pay more.
You're killing me right now, though, because I'm sure it's amazing, but I just can't.
Yeah, it's cask strength. The finish goes on and on. It's not worth the price. I mean, if I came across a bottle for $450, yeah, I would probably buy it.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I'm not paying $650 for it. It's not.
My wife's going to be very mad at you after this, Stacey. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Really,
you may get a mean message.
I'm really, really sorry. Especially since I'm telling you whiskey that is readily accessible, which is actually readily accessible to several people in U.S. states because Folsom Wine and Spirits they legally ship to a lot of US states. So if anybody wants, especially the Cologne and the two stacks, they can get it.
Now I'm gonna have to go back over there and revisit that place now that we've had this conversation. For sure.
All right. So last one. This is two stacks, cast strength, apricot brandy finish. So this one is 63.2% ABV. My bottle is actually from Ireland. It's 700 ml. This one was, so this is the regular two stacks cast strength, but this has been finished for a month in French oak casks that were seasoned with apricot brandy.
Oh, okay.
So this was one of the original finishes from Two Stacks, where they have the Barbados rum, they have the Sauternes, they have a tawny port. This one out of those finishes has been my favorite. Now they've come out with more since then. They have an apple brandy, they have a cherry brandy that was a Netherlands release that you haven't heard the story. So my friend and I got on the phone, and we were on the website trying to learn enough Dutch to buy this cherry brandy release because it was released for the Netherlands.
Oh wow.
So we managed to do that twice.
Oh wow.
Shipped it from the Netherlands to Ireland to us in the States.
Oh no, I don't even want to know what that's going to cost. That's pretty good.
Wasn't cheap, but it was worth it. Now they have it in Ireland. You can get the cherry brandy in Ireland.
Pretty good logistics though.
Brian and the Bourbon School. So you can actually get, I shared with them. So I had a business trip in Canada over in Alberta, and they released a maple syrup stout, and it was like a peated stout finish, maple syrup cask finish whiskey for the Canadian market. So when I was there, I literally had it shipped to my hotel for the business trip and hauled it back. And I sampled it out for Bourbon School. Well, you can get that one now in Ireland too. So you can get it shipped to you from Ireland.
I'm sure that's fantastic. I have a maple syrup finished bourbon that the influence is incredible. It makes it creamy, and it's just fantastic.
It's so good. It balances out it's got 10% peat and malt. So this one is the standard two stacks. For those of you who don't know, two stacks is, my friend calls this a Franken blend, which is actually kind of appropriate. So it's a blend of 40% dark grain, 40% light grain, aged in bourbon casks, 8% pot still aged in Oloroso sherry butts, 10% double malt aged in bourbon casks, and 2% peated malt aged in bourbon casks. This is roughly 4 or 5 years old. The regular two stacks cast strength is a freaking steal. I mean, it's like $60 and it's 65% ABV. They also have these finishes. I'm thinking these are around $80, $90. But honestly, their finishes are all really, really good. I've become a big fan of what they're doing as well, because they're doing also it's cast strength, no artificial coloring, non-chill filtering.
That's it's interesting. I know, and maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me, but I know that Two Stacks has a very slight amount of peat in it. There's a very slight amount in the blend of a peated malt of some kind. 2%. But I tell you what, I swear I can get it on the nose.
Oh, I get it.
It's very, very subtle.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the palate on this is super interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's wild.
But
you get the apricot for sure.
It's smoke, but not peat.
I don't get a ton of the smoke on the palate, just on the nose.
It's real subtle. On the palate, it's very, very subtle. Does not drink 53% either.
Oh no, 100%. No, it definitely drinks below the ABV, but I don't know if you're getting it, but I'm getting smashed in the face with like an almond on the palate, like a nutty almond note, and then something very floral.
Yeah. Not really getting the almond, but the floral at the end. Yeah.
I don't know, boy. Very floral. Almost, yeah. I want to say roses, but
kind of like a rose water.
Wow. That is super interesting though. I wonder where that rose-ish, that kind of rose note on the palate comes from. It must be from the brandy. It has to be from the apricot brandy finish.
Yeah, it can't be. I've had French oak cask before, and I haven't gotten that. It's got to be from the apricot brandy, and that's crazy. It spent 1 month in an apricot brandy cask. and
Well,
that's the result.
there's
It's amazing.
some of those sweet finishes. I think some of the art of that finishing that some of these producers are making is knowing that you don't have to leave it in there very long. And if you leave it in there for too long, it can be overpowering and almost distracting. I have a oh man, I'm gonna forget what it was. It's a overseas only Irish. It was a 10-year finished sherry, and I can't remember what it is, but the sherry note influence on it is overpowering. It's too much. It's like all you get is sherry and then other little things on the end. They left it too long. So to be able to know how long you have to leave it in there to get the effect that you want, to get the notes in there without leaving it on too long is an art form.
And I've had some that honestly that were aged in sherry casks. Like I've had a Bushmills that was done by W.D. O'Connell that was actually aged all 12 years in an Oloroso sherry cask, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But you have to, yeah, you're right. You have to know it doesn't work for everything. I don't think you could have left this very long in that apricot brandy because it's got a lot of apricot.
It does have a lot of apricot.
I am getting some butteriness from the French oak as well on this. I dated a cherry in high school. She broke my heart. Oh, Mike.
That is super interesting.
This one is also, so this one, the Sauterne, the Tawny Port, these are available in the US. You just have to pay for shipping. But they're available.
I'm going to have to run back over to the old Folsom.
Yeah, 63% ABV. That bottle's going to last you a little bit, but.
That's a dangerous one though, because that does not drink 63%.
No, it does not. No.
That's one that'll get you.
I'm guilty for doing this because it literally people say, well, Irish is low proof and boring, and I say hold my beer. So
that is neither low proof or boring.
Yeah, I've got stuff back here. The short cross is 66%. I've got that's 67%.
That's getting up there. It's so subtle though. I really only whatever that floral note is the only thing that comes at you really hard and fast like a high ABV. Everything else is super subtle.
This one I get the apricot right at the beginning of the palate, and then it fades into that floral note. And kind of merged, like smushed between the two is just that little bit of smoke. Not really peat, more just smoke.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a citrusy to it. The finish isn't. I don't want to say it's terribly long. Very subtle. The floral kind of hangs around.
Oh, there you go. Sugar Kitty says it's probably a result of the yeast they used.
The
yeast strain.
Oh, there you go.
It could be.
It comes across as rose, but
it does come across more like a rose water.
Wow, that's really interesting though. I definitely appreciate all these things that you said. That Jameson, you were absolutely 100%. That's fantastic. That Jameson 18 Bow Street. If I had to pick a favorite, that'd be one that would be on the short list to try and of all whiskey always. I love that one. It's just fantastic. Well, right down to the little medallion.
So rank these. So I'm assuming that Jameson is your favorite.
Yeah, I'd say the Jameson is definitely the favorite. I'd say probably the two stacks second. The coconut rum finished Killowen. And then, man, it's really close between that Jameson single pot still and the JJ Corey. I like the Jameson pot still because it's just doing what I like Jameson to do. But the JJ Corey is a little more interesting, but it's the least. Oh man, I don't know. That's so tough. I'd probably put that one and then the Jameson last. These are all really fantastic, though. They're really all very good. You did a great pick. I mean, really great pick. You did a great job of I love how you did the progression in proof too. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, yeah, that two stacks at 63% and with 2% peated. I mean, we got to have that one last. That one doesn't have enough peat to really blow your palate, but
no, it's one of my favorite things about two stacks. Is they do it. It's brilliantly done. That little bit of peat that they add in there is just brilliantly done because it doesn't distract in any way. It doesn't even really jump out at you in any way, but it does add to the experience because it adds a nose and a palate note to it that it just adds to it. I really like it. I'm glad they do that. That is super interesting. That is the most interesting of what you sent me.
The 2 stacks or the Jameson?
I think the 2 stacks, the Jameson is definitely the best, but this one really is throwing me off. It's just
It's
I
got a lot
can't
going
say I
on.
get I can't say I get rose water in much of anything. It's very rare to get that. I had something recently that had a kind of a floral note that could have maybe been rose, but not like this. I'm gonna have to
Sugar
feed that one to my wife and see what she thinks.
think of floral notes from Maker's Mark happens in one of their yeast strains.
Yeah, big Makers fan, but it is definitely not rose. I definitely do not get rose.
I got rose water in another one of my whiskeys, but that one was the Bushmills Causeway. Was it 20? It was the 2002, so it was a vermouth cask finish. And
That's
vermouth
interesting.
it's kind of floral. So I have a rose water note on that, but that's.
I think this
yeah.
part of the reason probably is because I'm not drinking nearly enough Irish. I think that rose water note would get drowned in a lot of the leather and oak notes that you get in bourbons. I don't think even if it was in there, I think you have a hard time pulling it out. That's that's one of my favorite things about the Irish is you can some of those more subtle, softer notes, floral notes, the biscuity notes come out a little better because you're not having them drowned behind something else. A lot of barrel tannins or char or really heavy vanilla. From the villain in the wood. I love Irish.
There's so much room for variety. I mean, it just has to have another alcohol in it, and you can age Irish whiskey in it. So I mean, there's just so much room for variety. Yeah. I've got wild cherry wood, mulberry wood. I've got apple brandy, apricot brandy. I mean, it's just it really allows you a little more room for growth. And the big, like I was saying, other than peated, the big thing that they're doing now with Irish whiskey, you're going to see a lot more of, is stuff like that Powers Rye. It's called a mixed mash bill. So you're going to start seeing, like, you'll see stuff now that says, Irish whiskey blend, single pot still, single malt. We're going to start seeing things that don't have that and just Irish whiskey. It's because it doesn't fall into one of those categories.
So how common is that rye in Irish anyway?
It's starting to become more common. Depends on the distiller also. When you're talking about smaller independent distillers that are going outside the box, like Culloden, like 2 Stacks, like Method Madness, the experimental distillery at IDL, they have a rye and malt. Short Cross I have a rye and malt from them. So you're seeing it as a component of other whiskey. That one is the first that's 100% rye. I've got one that was from Culloden that was almost 100% rye. The intention was it was supposed to be 100% rye, but unfortunately the mash got so thick they called it the paddle breaker because they broke 3 canoe paddles trying to stir it, and they finally got fed up and threw in like a sack of peated malt just to make it more buoyant so they could actually stir
it. So do you probably know this because you've got a lot of Irish knowledge. So is rye is just not a traditional grain for Irish use, or is it one of those things that used to be that is making a resurgence? I mean, it's
coming back.
Oh, okay. So it had been.
Yeah. Well, yeah, back in the day, anything that was normal on a farm would have been. I mean, you would have wheat, you would have rye, you would have oats. Oats is coming back also really big. The problem was then you had the Irish Whiskey Association, which is basically Diageo and Pernod Ricard. You have these big companies that come together that are deciding this is what single pot still whiskey is, and we're only going to let 5% of other grains come in. So now you've got the Irish Whiskey Guild, which is the 2 Stacks, the Cullowens, the Blackwater, the JJ Corey's. All these smaller distillers are getting together and saying, no, actually 30-30-30 is what it should be. So right now they can't, in single pot still whiskey, they can't have any more of 5% of another kind of grain, other than barley or malted barley. It should be 30%. And once you change that to 30%, you get a huge amount of flavor variety with that. Huge amount.
Yeah.
So you're going to start seeing, Cologne has been releasing things and they'll slap right on there, mixed batch bill. But it's actually, if you're talking about the 1800s, it would be declared a single pot still. At the turn of the century, it would have been called a single pot still. So you're going to see a lot more of that coming forward where they're just like, forget the rules. Here's what we're doing. So a lot more of kind of a nod to historic Irish whiskey, the way it always was.
Well, I love to see that, and I think, I mean, obviously you're speaking in Irish in general, but I think whiskey in general is kind of going through a resurgence of being more open to experimentation and trying things outside of the box. It's happening here in the U.S. too. There's a big resurgence in American single malts, and the finishing bourbon is not the buzzword that it used to be. They're opening it up, and they're not calling it bourbon in the American whiskeys, but just trying different things. I love it. I think it's great. I think they should keep doing it and be more open to it. Tradition is important, but I don't think they run in conflict with each other. They can run parallel with each other. You can have hard tradition and keep that alive and still allow these other things to branch off and happen, because you never know what great thing is going to happen. You can't always be stuck in doing things the exact same way, because maybe you miss something.
And that kills me about bourbon, because it's almost like finishing is a dirty word. Like they're using it to hide something. And
it's changing.
People are like, what the flip are you talking about? We've been finishing stuff for hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's changing. I just think, in the United States, the laws surrounding bourbon, and they get into all these. I mean, look at Tennessee whiskey as a designation that happened because of a slight variation in a filtration method, and they think, well, that's not bourbon. But I think they're starting to let it go. I mean, look at this is just off topic, but I've got a bottle here of Missouri straight bourbon whiskey. They're actually fighting to get a designation for Missouri straight bourbon whiskey made in Missouri. So I mean, there's a pushback against some of the traditional things. I think there's always going to be tradition, and I think that's important. That's one of the great things about whiskey in general is the tradition, the history, that gets passed down. Like you're talking about the distiller that uses everything in the old style. It's important to hang on to these things. You don't want to let these things go. You lose them. But you can also have experimentation, and you get the new generations coming in and they're trying new things. And I think it's important because it's a tradition that evolves in a way too, as long as you don't lose track of where you started and where you were grounded from. I think it's a great thing, and I'm super glad to see it. And the variety is just going wild, which is challenging for you or I to keep up.
It's great for the industry. I mean, there are over 40 operating distilleries in Ireland right now. Some of them don't have, product old enough to release, but they are operating, and you got to have variety for any of them to survive. I love that they are, they're trying to get their whiskey over here, because they also realize, that many distilleries on the island of Ireland, there's not enough business to survive on that one island. You've got to get your whiskey out. And so I appreciate, they absolutely are the most gracious people. It kills me how many Facebook friends I have that are distillers in Ireland. But they absolutely love Americans that enjoy their whiskey. Then they really appreciate it.
Yeah, they want to share it. Didn't Ireland get down to like 5 at one point? Some ridiculously small number of distillers. I mean, it's a hell of a comeback story. I love Ireland. My wife and I fell in love with the country and with the people. I could tell you story after story about the time we spent in Ireland, but I had that exact experience with the people in Ireland. I had lunch with a gentleman who had such a thick accent because he was born speaking Gaelic. I didn't understand 10 words, but we talked a lot during lunch. It was a lot of fun. But he had a little bit of Irish whiskey, and it was great. I mean, the people were just fantastic, and there's so much history, and it was just great. It was absolutely fantastic. So I appreciate you having me on for this. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you. So
I'm going to run my wife through these.
What do you have coming up? When's your next live stream?
So we do Wednesday nights at 6:30 Pacific time. So it's kind of late for the East Coasters, but we do get a lot of East Coasters that stay up all night. We do the live on TikTok. It's a lot of fun. I do the TikTok because it allows me to answer a lot of questions. We get a lot of questions come in. My wife sits and helps me out. Sometimes my son joins us. But we have a lot of regulars. There is a ton of knowledge, just like your people here in your live today. The cumulative knowledge of all of the people that participate is just mind blowing. So it's fun. Mine, unlike this live today, mine usually devolves into shenanigans and whiskey craziness, and so it's a lot of fun. We usually go for an hour and a half or two. My wife usually has to tell me to wrap it up because we go too long, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you again for being on here. I really appreciate it. This is such a good amount of fun.
Yeah, anytime.
People I met on the other platforms that I'm like, I can get you on this one.
Yeah, you were one of my first people that stood out. Yeah, 100%. Well, what we'll do is I will at some point start getting more into the YouTube lives, and I will turn this around on you. So be careful, be ready, because I'm going to send you. I will send you the biggest, boldest, craziest stuff I can get. And we will do bourbon, just because it's a lion's share of what we do. I want to do more of this, but I'll turn the tables on you, and we'll do a YouTube live, and you'll have to do some bourbon
That'd be
tasting.
awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna careful. Be ready. Be ready.
Well, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. The other thing you probably noticed if you're trying to tag me in chats is there's now a space in between the 4 and the leaf. You can thank the good people at the Irish Whiskey Industry Awards for that. So I got nominated for Independent Brand Ambassador of the Year at the Irish Whiskey Industry Awards. Well, they accidentally left an extra space, and I'm like, I guess that's me now. So I changed it, and I'm like, well, it's not hurting anything. My husband said, just go ahead and change it. I'm like, all right. So
that's awesome.
You guys in chat when you're tagging me, I am trying to still catch everything, but if I missed you, that's why. I'm not ignoring you, I swear. I love you guys. Patreon. So my next Patreon giveaway is coming up. We're going to be giving away some swag from the Dublin Irish Festival, including a tote bag that actually the only people that got that were the committee for the festival and the entertainers. My husband and I don't need to, so you guys are getting one of them. Got to throw out a couple of samples in there too. Joe is pointing out here. Thank you, Joe. On September 6th, I'm going to be battling Joe. He's sending me some whiskey. I'm going to send him some whiskey. So that's going to be super, super fun. Also, this coming Wednesday, I'm going to be on Hello Again Whiskey Friends. And Kelsey sent me a blind flight of bourbon. Hopefully he was kind. He said it was going to be fun. I want a point. That's it. If I score a point, I'll be thrilled. I'm not a bourbon person. So
good luck.
So yeah, I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. You guys have a good night. Make sure you go over, check out Anthony Bourbonify. He's live right now. Barry Chandler with the Shabine is live right now, breaking down Irish whiskey labels. And at 9 o'clock tonight is Live Wire Whiskey. So make sure you go give them some love. Sláinte. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.